got a fight night.
We do. Finally.
We've got a fight night coming up.
It's back.
It's back. It's back again. We actually have stuff to talk about.
Back on the road.
It is. It's a pretty cool fight night, honestly. It's unfortunately the first topic we will discuss. Unfortunately, it's lost its co-main event, which does suck. I was pretty excited to see that one.
Yeah.
Always like to see Cup fight because he's entertaining as fuck.
He is very.
He's just like a fireball.
Yeah.
Of homophobic slurs, right hands, left hands, weird little tricks and stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't hold back.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't hold back in all meanings.
Yeah, he doesn't hold back whatsoever. He almost fought Izzy. That was funny as.
Yeah, that was hilarious. That was probably one of my favorite press conference moments last year, I'd say.
That could be number one, honestly, for me. I think because that was just
it's like random. A flyweight trying to like scrap a middleweight on a stage. And he kind of made Izzy look a little bit awkward too.
Yeah, and he was not afraid.
No, he was like not backing down.
No, he would have done it.
Yeah.
But it's a shame. So, yeah. Cup has dropped out of his fight. The fight has been cancelled due to the weight that he was over. I think he was over like 3 pounds. It just sucks, really. I think he was, he weighed in 29.5.
Got too much ham over Christmas.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. Honestly, believe that it's probably down to a bit of a Christmas blowout that he couldn't avoid, which is a shame. It's a big shame.
That's the problem, I guess, with people fighting at the start of the year. That's why we have heard fighters in the past. I know it's probably a little bit different for someone like Tai Tuivasa talking about it, but a lot of people. It would be pretty hard being the first fight back. You've got to stay so disciplined over Christmas and New Year's and that while you're around family who are focused on having a good time.
Absolutely.
God, yeah. I wouldn't be able to do it.
No, I would never take a fight at that point. But I mean, like, the opportunity calls. You've got to do it, you know? Like,
That's true.
You've got to do it. But, like,
and this guy's on a
like
war path at the moment.
Yeah.
He needs to keep fighting people to make his way to the top.
But it's a real big shame. Maybe he should move up to 135. He's had problems on the scale before. That's a documented issue. And if it keeps happening, he won't be the biggest at 135, but is it worth...
He's shown he's got the power.
Yeah, exactly. He's knocked people out before, that's for sure. He's got the power, he's got the skills. He definitely could go up to 135, but man, I really want to see him fight Kai. And he has to be at 125 to do so. That fight would be fun as fuck. But it's so annoying. If he won this fight and they did do a UFC fight card in New Zealand, he would have been on it against Kai, probably. So
I would say so.
That would have been fun. But
it's still not completely off the table. I mean, they were booked to fight beforehand.
They have been.
Kai got injured. So
concussion.
I mean, they could just go ahead and book that fight for Cape's next fight.
Yeah.
Who was he booked to fight this weekend?
Pretty good guy. I think he's been booked to fight this guy twice.
Oh, really? What happened the first time?
I don't know. I think he maybe also missed weight. Let's look it up, eh?
Right. We have been blessed with some much better weather while you're bringing this
right into it, eh?
Yeah, I know. Well, the people want to hear.
So we lost to Ankalaev before.
Okay.
In a 3-round decision.
When was that?
That was quite a while ago in 2021.
Okay. Almost 3 years ago now.
Big shame, man. Fuck. Oh, that's just one of the weigh-ins. Yeah, so... Yeah, first fighter to miss weight in 2024. I wonder if we'll see that again with the old Christmas curse,
Yeah,
we'll see that again.
It's we've probably got 1 or 2 more events where it could affect people. I'd say. I don't see Sean missing weight.
No, definitely not. Dricus neither.
Dricus will not miss weight. Yeah, they're both very, very professional. But maybe some other people on that card.
Potentially.
Being a pay-per-view, it's a bit deeper in terms of people and the amount of fights. So we could see that happening again.
Yeah. Luckily, this is the only fight that has been cancelled on the card because I was about to say it's pretty light, this card, but honestly,
it's got some sleeper fights on there.
It does. Not UFX. What the fuck is UFX? UFC. So
UFX. We have a separate podcast about that, don't we?
About the UFX.
Yeah.
So yeah, breaking down the card, getting into it, the people who are actually fighting on the card who didn't miss weight. Check this out, man. We've got like a pretty decent wee card. You know, Jim Miller's back. The man, the myth.
We thought we'd see him
legend.
at UFC 300.
He might still.
You reckon?
Yeah, if he wins this fight, he'll be betting for a fight on 300. You know, he fought on 100, 200, now potentially 300.
That's
insane. What a baller.
That is pretty cool.
Pretty dope. But let's start at the top, eh? Magomed Ankalaev rematches Johnny Walker. What are your thoughts on the main event?
I was so hyped for this fight the first time round. It's a great matchup for this division. Both guys are they have shown that they deserve to be at the top, but each time that they have been in that fight that could elevate them to potentially a title shot or a title eliminator, they've fallen up just short. Ankalaev fighting for the belt and having a draw, that kind of been nice. That's got to be a very tricky one to come back from in terms of motivating yourself to get back into training and especially when quite a lot of people, including Jan, thought he won that fight. But on the other side of this, Johnny Walker has been knocked out a couple times now in the UFC, but more memorably by Jamahal Hill.
Big one, eh?
Who then later went on to become the champion after beating Glover. But Johnny Walker, always an exciting guy to watch. Brings a real fire and a real atmosphere to the cage that not many people do nowadays. A really exciting matchup. Even the first, it didn't last more than a couple of minutes the first time round, but those first couple of minutes looked pretty good. In my opinion, for Johnny Walker, I think he looked quite
on the feet. He looked like he had pretty big.
He nearly landed that flying knee.
He did.
As well.
My god, close. That fake to the flying knee. Yeah, on the feet he looked far superior. Obviously, when he got taken down, Ankalaev looked to be, the better fighter on the ground.
He was making his way back up, though.
He was, and then he got kneed, unfortunately, which was silly. But very interesting clash of styles. Like, I think Johnny Walker's pretty good on the ground. We haven't seen much from him on the ground, but he is Brazilian. That always helps.
It's an advantage, yeah.
If he gets taken down, maybe we'll see a bit of his ground game. You never know. But we have seen him wrestled before by lesser opponents than Ankalaev. So, there's a lot of questions to be answered. Maybe Johnny Walker's worked a lot on his takedown defense, his ability to get back up, his bottom game, sweeps, submissions from the bottom. You never know.
He said he's looking for revenge in this fight, which is a nice little storyline. But
it is. It's a tough one to call. They're both really good, and they do have kind of opposite styles.
They do.
Ankalaev has shown pretty decent hands, though, to be fair.
I think these guys really don't like each other either, which adds another dimension to this fight, which I really like. It kind of
beefs it up.
Yeah, it beefs it up. It makes it a bit more exciting and puts you on the edge of your seat a little bit more.
Makes you edge a little bit.
Because
keeps you edging.
It's like, who could potentially get emotional in there and let that overrule the game plan or whatever.
Really could be either of them as well. They're both pretty hot-headed.
They are.
Ankalaev's shown a bit of an inability to control his temper at times, getting frustrated. And his knee. And Johnny Walker's a crazy motherfucker.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, after that fight got called off last time and they were still in the cage, they continued
brawling.
Yeah. Had to get broken up by security. You're really going hard on the water today, mate.
Well, I haven't eaten any food for a long time now. This is kind of helping.
Nice.
Good.
Nice.
It's good. It's cold. I like water. Everyone, drink more water. Take a sip of your water right now if you're listening to this. Ash McNichol. But yeah, great fight. Great fucking banger.
Who do you see?
Very glad that these guys are running it back.
Who do you see coming out on top?
I'm going to be logical and I'm going to stick with Ankalaev and I'm going to say I'm not going to say by decision. I mean, you'd kind of look at a wrestler and you look at it and you're kind of like, yeah, often they grind out a 5-round decision. But Johnny Walker and Ankalaev seems like too good of a wrestler to take this to decision if he can implement his game plan. So I think if Ankalaev can keep him on the ground, he will get a finish within the first 3 rounds. Or maybe, first 3 rounds, Ankalaev, if he can implement his game plan. But there's a lot of unanswered questions about Johnny Walker. You know, is his takedown defense better now than it has been? Can he get back up? You know?
Thing for me is if it does go to the ground, what I want to see from Magomed is for him to be doing something on the ground. I mean, in that fight against Jan, sorry, that didn't sound very technical, but like I want him to stay busy, right? Yeah. In that fight against Jan, he had his back for the last 2.5, maybe even 3 rounds, like, and just did nothing with it. Wasn't ground and pounding. He was getting told constantly by the ref that he needed something. Yeah, you have to do something. And when you were like that experienced a grappler, you'd be thinking he'd be shooting for submissions. He'd be like maybe just going ham on the ground and pound.
Yeah.
If he can do that, I think he can beat anyone in the light heavyweight division. But
absolutely.
The thing is if he goes in there and does the same thing that he did against Jan, I can see Johnny Walker coming out with a win.
Yeah.
Because Johnny Walker will be a lot more active in terms of on the feet, I think, than what Jan may have been. Just in my opinion,
he's probably a lot more of a gas tank. Yeah, and seemed to gas out pretty quickly.
Yeah. Is it 5 rounds?
It is. Yeah, it's 5 rounds. It is. So that's a big factor again. I think one thing about Ankalaev that's so kind of that kind of puts him above a lot of people in the light heavyweight division is his well-roundedness. Like his ability on the feet is not bad at all. He's knocked people out. He's finished people with strikes. He's very clean on the feet. It's not his biggest strength. His biggest strength is obviously the wrestling, the takedowns, but his ability to mix it all together is what makes him so dangerous in this division. When we've got a division full of people who have one set of skills that they want to implement, someone like him, if he can race to the top, that is perfect for him. So yeah, I really think that Ankalaev, that is going to be the big point in this fight. It's going to be his well-roundedness, his ability to strike with Walker, to avoid the punches, to then slip, take him down, control him, beat him up on the floor. We've seen him knock people out with ground and pound before.
I personally don't see this fight getting past the 3rd round.
I agree. Yeah,
I think there is a bit of a playbook on how to stop Ankalaev, and I think that came from, again, that Jan fight. I think leg kicks, which we did see Johnny Walker targeting early in that first fight before it was stopped.
He's got some good leg kicks too.
I think that is the way to beat this guy from Johnny Walker's point of view. Set up the leg kicks.
Don't get too wild.
Don't get too wild. I'd still want to see a little bit of that from him because that's obviously his style.
Yeah. But yeah, don't get too wild with swinging punches where he might be able to slip, take you down.
Yeah.
Stick to the fundamentals and, just build from there,
Yeah. I think, like I said before, I think it is going to be who can keep their head cool in this fight, who will prevail. But, Ankalaev, if he can get him to the ground, he needs to stay busy. Otherwise, Johnny Walker on the feet, just smash out those legs, and then he will find an opening up top. And we've seen him. He's got the power to put the lights out on anyone. So
yeah, in his hands, his elbows, his knees, his kicks, he can put people out.
His knees are
his knees are crazy.
He has the best flying knee in MMA. I'm going to say. I'm just going to say MMA. If you haven't seen what I'm about to say, like go on Johnny Walker's Instagram. You'll probably have to scroll down quite a ways because he's quite active. But there's a post from, I think, before his last fight when he was warming up at one of the UFC events, I think, and his coach is holding pads well above his head. And this guy's
very athletic. Very athletic.
And Johnny Walker is jumping up and kneeing this pad like way up in the air.
Crazy.
It is insane, man. And if you can get that high, the amount of power that you are generating from that knee when you're at someone's chin height, fucking hell.
Yeah. As well as that, his elbows are vastly
Yeah.
His back spinning back elbow is he's shown, you know, that's very important.
Yeah.
His elbows from the clinch, like his fight against Khalil Roundtree when he had him in the tie clinch, just short elbows, 2 of them.
His timing's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a very athletic guy. Unfortunately, he has a bit of a chin. A not very good chin.
Issue, yeah.
Got a chin issue.
We've seen him be knocked out 3 times in one fight.
Yeah. He's got the goofiest knockouts. Whenever he gets knocked out, he's knocked out like bad.
Yeah.
And in a weird way, he like falls, like flings himself around.
Yeah.
It's very strange. But so you're picking Walker for this fight?
Well, yeah, I am. I'm picking Walker for this fight.
I'll go with Ankalaev. I'll say by finish, first 3 rounds, just to be devil's advocate. I really want Walker to win. I want to be wrong. I would probably get up, scream, maybe even piss myself a little bit if Walker got the KO.
I don't see it getting past the 3rd round, like I said, but I think Johnny Walker, 2nd round KO.
Cool. Very good. First round, a bit of control time from Ankalaev, maybe?
Possibly.
2nd round, it starts.
Yeah. I think early 2nd round.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's move on to the rest of the card, eh? Jim Miller. He is the new co-main event, as we mentioned. Carp is now out due to weight miss.
UFC veteran.
UFC veteran. He's the most fights in the UFC, I believe, now. I think
you're right, yeah.
He overtook Cowboy, but maybe even the most wins as well. The guy is a record-breaking machine because he's just been at it for so long.
How long has he been at it? When was his first fight in the organization?
In the org?
40 years old.
Peak.
Which is, we have seen, is still young enough to compete.
He knocked someone out in his last fight, so that's that KO, that last fight KO, 23 seconds in, he knocked out Jesse Butler. That was pretty insane. That was on that fight that
submission win over Donald Cerrone as well.
Yeah, that was obviously Donald Cerrone's one of his last, his last fight, I believe. But you know, he has been at it since day fucking. Look at this.
That's incredible, insane. Man.
So UFC 89 was his first fight. He won by rear naked choke, Bisping versus Levin in 2008.
Oh my goodness.
He's been fighting since 2005. So next year it'll be 20 years. He made his professional debut.
That's incredible.
That is insane. So he's just been the company man. Give him his wish. If he wins this fight, even if he loses this fight, give the man the wish that he wants.
He
Put
needs
him on
to be
UFC
on
300.
That's right.
That's a record that will never be broken.
No.
100, 200, and 300.
That's obviously incredible. It is actually incredible. Like,
it is insane. The guy is a machine. All my love goes out to Jim Miller. I'm wishing you the best this weekend, my guy.
Like, it's rare for, like, just in moving away from MMA for a second, it's rare for someone to stay at, like, just working like a Monday to Friday job at a company for 19 years, okay? Yeah, let alone fighting professionally against the top guys in the world.
And staying at the top level.
Yeah.
You know, he's outside of the top 15, but he's still getting good wins. He's been in and out of that top 15. He's had big fights that he's won against top opponents. You know, he's a bit of an up and down fighter, but the longevity is something to behold, you know.
Up against Gabriel Benitez.
Gabriel Benitez. 35 himself, so he's not a spring chicken. Won his last fight against... Oh, he didn't fight in 2023, so he's coming back after a long layoff. That could play a big factor in this fight. Gabriel Benitez, his last fight, he did get a KO, but like I say, that was back in 2022, late 2022. So it's over 2 years since over a year since his last fight. His fight before that, he got KO'd. See what KO decision. So you know he's been KO'd a couple times recently. He's on the tail end of his career. We could see another Jim Miller KO here.
We could
early.
We could. Yeah, I like Jim Miller for this fight. He's been more active, obviously, than anyone in history, but in UFC history at least. But
and even recently, like guy's a machine. I'll pick him too. I'm gonna say finish round 2. I don't think it's going to be as quick as the last one, but like I say, yeah, this guy, his last fight was obviously a TKO in the win column. His 2 fights before that, he got KO'd, TKO'd. He won a fight by TKO before that, and then decision TKO. So he's been TKO'd or KO'd a lot in his career, especially recently. And he's older, signs of the chin maybe withering away. I think it's a good shout.
Yeah. Yep.
You got a slam KO.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Good on him. Yeah.
Jim Miller round 2 KO.
I think Jim Miller first round. I'm going to say submission.
Submission?
Yep.
He has submitted quite a few people.
I don't know much about Benitez. He's from Mexico.
He's had a few submissions in his time. Only a couple. So maybe he could be okay on the ground. But
I think Jim's gonna want to get out of there pretty quickly if he wants to make this call out for UFC 300 and be healthy enough to make it to UFC 300.
He's gonna look for the finish.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I agree.
Should we move on?
Let's move on. So we both picked Jim Miller. I'm gonna say round 2.
Round 1.
Round 1. Very good. Very good. So Ricky Simon's on the card. Ricky Simon, a bit of a fan favorite, a bit of a brawler, heavy hands, one of those short, stocky 135ers. He's coming up against Mario Bautista.
It is Batista, yeah.
Batista. So, yeah, a bit of a good matchup here. Don't know all that much about Batista. Honestly, I'm a bit out of the loop after Christmas. It feels like the memories of the UFC have just kind of gone.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Well, it has been a wee while since we've had a card.
We've broken it down,
Who is this guy?
Who is this man? Pretty active. So he was supposed to fight Garbrandt. I remember that. So he
fought twice last year.
Fought twice. He won them both. Decision and a submission.
Okay.
Before that, he's on a bit of a fucking streak, this man.
Five in a row there?
We should know about this guy. 5 in a row.
20-4. Is that his record?
He's 20. No, I think he's less than that. So last loss was against Trevin Jones, TKO round 2.
In 2021.
Quite a while ago. So he's been on a 5-fight run, jumping into that top echelon in the bantamweight division. Never an easy task for anyone. But Ricky Simon's no easy feat. Ricky Simon is a very good fighter, and he's also been
Ricky Simon's 20-4.
Yeah.
That's where I saw that.
So his last fight, he got knocked out by Song Yudong. Nothing to be ashamed of there. Song is a top bantamweight. Before that, he beat Jack Shaw. He beat Asensio, Brian Kelleher. So we can't argue that Ricky Simon has definitely had Ray Borg.
I think this will be a brawl.
The better opponents, yeah, for sure.
I think this could potentially be the fight of the night.
Could be, for sure. I think you could be right there, mate. You could be right. I think we're going to see a brawl too. I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see a decision. If I'm completely honest, but it's going to be a war.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. Okay.
I'm going to take Ricky.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go with Batista. He just seems to be on a bit of a tear at the moment.
Yeah, you're right.
So I'm going to go with the momentum.
With Mario.
Yeah.
And look, we got Mario and we got fucking...
And we got Waldo.
Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy. This should be in Italy, this fight. No,
it should be.
It should be in Italy, man.
The plumbing at this event will be phenomenal.
Insane. They've done it. They've checked it. And yeah, fucking imagine the bars in Italy on Sunday.
Okay.
Or maybe that's
all Saturday, the fighters will be on mushrooms.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Stuffed with nice pizza and pasta.
Oh.
Brilliant. Moving on, Phil Hawes.
It's an interesting name, isn't it? I mean, I don't want to go too deep
into the Hawes.
Into filling that, but hey, I mean, that's one thing, right? Just to take a slight break from breaking this card down. When you're naming a child, if you've got a last name of Hawes, right? I know it's not spelt the same. It's said the same. Just think about it.
Think about it.
It's like naming him fuck. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or kill.
Or suck.
Or drop them in the Avon. I don't know. Like, it's just, there's a weird.
I didn't say it.
Come on, you got to write that down and say it out loud and go, yeah, that's a bit borderline.
This kid's gonna get bullied.
Yeah. But what?
But
what are you filling?
He's done all right.
What are you filling them with?
What's going on? Concrete? Maybe they don't even know. In America, because Americans are so gullible and silly, they probably don't even know. They're probably not even clicked.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. In New Zealand, we do look for how we can immediately bully someone, I think.
Yeah.
It's just something.
But it's a good thing because it develops tough skin.
That's right, yeah.
As a country, we've got relatively tough skin to, jokes and banter. But in America, they'd get triggered and cry and
cancel people.
Piss themselves and cancel. But he's a good fighter. He's in the UFC. Middleweight fight between Phil Hawes and Bruno Ferreira. Did you think I was going to mispronounce that name? Or something?
No, it's just every time you say the other name, I have to grimace a little bit.
Pretty good though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
Good. Bruno. So Phil Hawes, he has had an interesting career, a bit up and down. He most recently fought Ankalaev and got KO'd pretty clean in that first round. He came out brawling. It was a firefight. I wouldn't want to do that against someone like Ikram.
No.
Completely honest.
No, that's fair enough.
Counter hook, KO'd clean. So that was his last fight. But before that, let me pop the screen up there for you watchers on the wall, eh? He hasn't been doing so well. He beat Darren Wynn, who's a bit of a protege from Daniel Cormier's gym. And then I think he had a go at Cormier that night, which was interesting. TKO'd him, but then he also lost to Roman Dolidze, who's been, surging towards the top. So that's not a bad loss. Before that, a bit back and forth. He got KO'd by Chris Curtis. He beat Kyle Daukaus, who's, he was all right for a while.
Yeah, he was.
So he's been
a very up and down career, isn't it?
Correct, yeah. But then when we look at the career of Ferreira, 10-1. He's only lost one fight. That was cancelled. So his last fight was his only loss so far. He was 10-0 going into that fight. He lost by TKO. So this could also be a fucking barn burner as well. I think this is going to be a 1-round war.
Yeah.
One of them's getting knocked out for sure.
Yeah. No, we have seen that from I was going to say Phil.
From Phil McCracken.
He does go in there and let his fist fly right away. Yeah. He just gets right into the filling.
Right into the.
Yeah, cross. I think Ferreira's going to have a point to prove. Having a 10-0 record is great.
It is,
but
10-1.
10-1,
10-1.
You've got to go.
Come on,
out there straight away and get right back into it and show everyone how you got to 10-0 in the first place. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think this is going to go to Ferreira.
So do I. I think that too. Round 1 KO.
Yeah, they're just, unless they go in and they're a bit restrained, and they kind of feel each other out for a bit. That would then kind of set it up to be, like you say, a bit of a barn burner. But I just don't see it happening.
Well, they both got KO'd in their last fights.
True.
Sometimes
might be a bit more tentative.
Exactly right. So maybe both of them are going to be like, you know what? Instead of going out there and fighting, I'm gonna technically beat this guy. If they both do that, that can get a little bit frustrating, boring. Maybe we don't see the barn burner, but honestly, in all honesty, I think these guys are two heavy hitters, two crazy men. Round 1 KO, Ferreira.
I like it.
We'll see. We will see.
I'm with you on that one. That is the first one I think we agree on.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Next up, Arlovsky versus Waldo, Mario's brother. Waldo Cortez Acosta. Another 10-1 guy. Arlovsky's obviously been at it since day dot. He's probably the only person in the UFC that's been that fought in the UFC before Jim Miller, I'd say.
44 years old.
Let's check out when was his first fight in the UFC? UFC 28 in 2000. UFC 28.
Lord.
Fuck me. silly. That is insane, man. So he's still fucking at it, and he's still
he's gone through some rough patches in his career, but
for sure. He's at about 3 fights in 2022. This guy's crazy. 3 in 2021.
Once last year.
But 41. Congratulations, Andrei Arlovski, for sticking at it, continuing to get a couple wins here and there. But I mean, bro, this guy,
Waldo,
he's the guy.
Salsa boy.
He's the guy. No, he's not.
Timothy.
I'm pretty sure
he's that guy.
You know that guy from Cuba, that heavyweight guy who's like a Taekwondo king or whatever?
Oh, yeah, we've seen a bit
about that guy. I think he's either fighting on this card or the first numbered event with Strickland and Duplessis. Maybe it's not this card, but
yeah, I think we would have heard a bit more about it if it was
probably.
this card.
But he lost his second to last fight, unanimous decision, Marcos Rodrigo de Lima. Good fighter though, so there's no shame in that. And then he got a KO on the Holloway Korean Zombie fight card. I think this one's an obvious pick. Arlovski's going to sleep, round 1. Yeah, 41, man. 41.
44, isn't he?
No, maybe. Oh,
yeah,
fuck, 44.
Yeah.
Jesus. So he's 12 years older than the guy he's fighting, and I just don't see that as going well for the man. I want him to win. I'll be rooting for you, Arlovski, but be a tough one, mate.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one. Round 1 KO Acosta. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.